This leaked audio of Karoline Leavitt tells you everything that you need to know. Everything you need to know about how scared the corporate media is. Everything you need to know on the war that Karoline Leavitt is waging against the press. And everything you need to know about how scared Donald Trump is politically right now. We are going to get into the leaked audio of Karoline Leavitt making a crazy threat. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into this leaked audio, I want to start with how we got there, which is an interview that Donald Trump did with CBS's Tony Dokoupil and what Karoline Leavitt recently said about how she views the press and the privilege they have of covering her. Now, I want to start with that clip and then, of course, Trump's interview because it colors what she said in this very insane threat. But first, let's start with a Leavitt attack.
Does this administration believe that this reporter or any reporter has a right to publish classified information under certain circumstances?
Look, I think that we do not believe that individuals who have been given the privilege of holding a top secret clearance should be illegally leaking that classified information, and I know the American people agree with that. And I think it's a basic tenet of journalistic integrity not to publish information that could directly endanger the operational security or the brave men and women who are serving this country in uniform and putting themselves in harm's way to protect not just the people of this administration, but all of you in the press and all of their fellow Americans as well.
Yes. To Karoline, it is a privilege to get to talk about Donald Trump. It is not the job of the White House to allow coverage. It is not the job of the White House to make sure that the truth and facts and real honest coverage is happening. No. It is the opposite. Karoline Leavitt wants to impede that. These people who call themselves the most transparent administration in history certainly do not believe that for a singular second. And Karoline Leavitt has made that clear. It is a war that they are waging on the media very purposefully. If they cannot control you or buy you, they will attack you. And attacking is a lot of what we saw in Donald Trump's interview with Tony Dokoupil, who is, because he works for Barry Weiss and Larry Ellison, bought and paid for to a degree. But the pushback that he gave right here is what ultimately led to this Leavitt threat.
The economy, while we have you here, the inflation numbers came out. Overall, not bad, but grocery prices.
No, overall, very good. Good for us. Good for our country. Joe Biden had the highest inflation numbers in history, correct?
The direction.
I have them down to a level that they haven't seen in about 9 years.
And Mr. President, help me understand, when I travel the country and I go all over the place and I talk to everyday Americans, they tell me they don't feel it because grocery prices
might not,
are up.
but they're going to now. I've only been here for 11 months, okay? And, the first few months were really rough, if you look at them, because I inherited a mess. I inherited a mess of crime. I inherited a mess of inflation. I inherited a mess of places closing up and going to other countries. And now we have the hottest country in the world. Tony, we have now the hottest country in the world. And a year and a half ago, our country was dead. We had a dead country. You wouldn't have a job right now. If she got in, you probably wouldn't have a job right now. Your boss, who's an amazing guy, might be bust, okay?
Might be
That's
what?
how bad. Might be bust. I doubt it in his case, but you'd never know. Let me just tell you, you wouldn't have this job. You wouldn't have this job, certainly whatever the hell they're paying you. Our country is rocketing right now. We have the hottest country in the world. If they got in, we would be Venezuela on steroids.
Mr. President, I'm just trying to be fair here. I'm just trying to do my job, and I want to talk about this assembly line here.
I hate to say it, but that was an actual good question with a little bit of follow-up. Certainly not enough follow-up, but when we watched this interview, I even said, Tony, wow, your bosses didn't just tell you to roll over and let Donald Trump lie and say whatever he wanted. It's just not how it went. And when you give any Republican, and I mean any Republican, any amount of pushback, they crumble. It is why I am consistently stunned that the White House press corps, with a few exceptions, is unwilling to just ask follow-up questions, which of course then are treated as gotcha questions. But Karoline Leavitt, to no surprise, was not very happy with this interview. And so she made it clear how she was feeling about how she wanted it to be published. Maybe because she wanted to make sure that everyone was intimidated by her, or maybe this audio leaked for a different reason. But listen to it, and then I'm going to tell you what I think.
Good job, by the way. You went right at Ellen.
Make sure you guys don't cut the tape. Make sure the interview is out in full.
Yeah, we're doing it. Yeah.
You said if it's not out in full, we'll sue your ass off. Oh, great, okay.
He always says that. I think that went.
We only have 19 minutes and 30 seconds, so 13 minutes.
How long did we talk?
The whole thing will be out.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate you, Karoline.
But just to confirm,
I think that this is a trap. Hear me out. I think that this audio was leaked, likely by someone in the Leavitt camp, or at least was shared or passed along because they want it to seem like CBS isn't bought and paid for. We know what is happening right now. Barry Weiss, the fascist who runs the Free Press, the genocide apologist Free Press, not even apologist, they fully endorse it over there, and the same person who is celebrating the fascism happening here, she gave Donald Trump a kiss, and he returned it when they most recently saw each other. That is the person running CBS right now. So I think that this audio came out because they wanted it to seem like Karoline Leavitt had to put the squeeze on them, that Karoline Leavitt wanted to push them, that the "we will sue your ass" made it seem like they weren't already going to do whatever they were told to. Because we know what's going to happen. They're going to do whatever they're told. That's what happens at CBS. You see BS. That is it. Bought and paid for, wholly owned subsidiary of the Trump administration. They did 19's not even a fair characterization. They did 90 hours straight, it seemed, of Erica Kirk interview slop nonsense that nobody was asking for. And thank God we haven't had to hear from her in a while in her stare down. She's trying to look into my soul to see if there's like spare change for her to grift for Turning Point. My God. But yeah, that's what I think this audio is. It's either that or what is also plausible, and maybe I don't have to, try to get too deep with it, just that Karoline Leavitt wants to threaten the press, and Donald Trump wants to threaten the press, and Donald Trump wants the press scared, and Karoline Leavitt wants the press scared. That is also a perfectly reasonable explanation for this. That the producers at CBS or someone over there wants to make it very clear that the Trump administration thinks that they can push these people around. And mind you, they can. But let's remember this come 2029, inshallah, Democratic president, right? Let's remember this violation of free speech, this violation of the freedom of the press. Donald Trump's entire takeover of CBS, of 60 Minutes, formerly great American institutions of journalism. That is what it looks like to go to war with the First Amendment. It is not when you say a slur and get fired from your job, right? When you're a racist bigot and people don't like you. When you're Erica Kirk and people make fun of you. It's not an attack on your free speech. Getting called out, being held accountable, being mocked, for God's sake. That's what it's about. This is the attack on free speech, on free expression, on the press. It is the right who will go to a college campus and send plain clothes, regularly dressed, trying to hide in plain sight ICE agents to viciously arrest college students who dare to call a genocide, who dare to state the truth that the U.S. government is funding it, the ethnic cleansing being carried out by the illegitimate state of Israel. Yeah, that is a violation. That is a violation of our free speech. What Donald Trump is doing. It's not when people don't like you because you're a Republican, because people don't like Republicans because they fucking suck. And nobody wants to be around you. I'm sorry, but I'm not. Girls don't want to date you, weird MAGA guys, not because Joe Biden is controlling the world, but it's because you're a loser. Now, CBS is giving Donald Trump favorable coverage, dare I say, and I should, propaganda, because he is threatening them, because he does control them. That's the difference here. Let's keep that in mind. And we should keep it in mind for a story that's not getting nearly enough coverage. What's happening at the Washington Post right now, Ari Melber wrote down right here.
And the FBI has now executed a new search warrant at a Washington Post journalist's home in Virginia. The administration says this is part of an investigation into a government contractor that they accuse of illegally retaining classified materials. The Post reporting FBI agents have now seized this reporter's phone, 2 laptops and a watch. One of the laptops was a personal computer, the other a Washington Post issued laptop. Investigators tell the Post reporter that she's not the focus of this probe, that the target is a government contractor, and according to the criminal complaint, is alleged to have had secret documents in a lunchbox and his own basement, which could be a violation of the rules. Attorney General Bondi alleges the Post reporter also published illegally leaked information. Of course, that is, when you cover the government, what happens all the time. It is also worth noting the complaint, which may be partial, may only be the start of the story, but the complaint itself does not accuse that contractor of leaking classified information. Now, this is obviously drawing intense scrutiny because while the government does have wide latitude in legitimate national security cases, and there have been times in the past where we've seen, as a last resort, reporters basically dealt with and investigated, or their materials investigated in security litigation, this comes amid a time where the Trump DOJ under Bondi has very little credibility, and the president has mused about going after all kinds of opponents and has done so. And he and his allies have viewed many in the press, as you know, as their sort of political opponents. Times reports that it's exceedingly rare to search a reporter's home, and it refers to a 1980 law that bans searching reporters unless they are the suspect they are the suspect in a criminal probe. Obviously, for example, being a journalist doesn't mean that the authorities can never deal with you if they have something separate from your journalism that you did wrong. Washington Post executive editor says this extraordinary aggressive action is deeply concerning and raises profound questions and concern around the constitutional protections for our work.
Hey, Jeff, if you're not going to stand up for your employees, maybe sell the paper. Maybe don't own the Post. But as we know, it is very valuable for Jeff Bezos to be able to placate Trump, say nice things about billionaires, and offer up journalists as sacrifices for Amazon stock price. That's what's happening. So maybe a little less corporate ownership of media would be great. And we're going to continue to call that out as independent media on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. Go 49ers. And until next time, I'll see you soon.